Hi everyone, welcome back to Java 1 for All. And in this video we are going to talk about the opposite of break, that is continue. So the continue works in a similar way. So the break, as you know, it will stop completely your for loop, but with continue, the for loop will just ignore the statements that are below it, and we'll go back to the iteration counting. Basically, if we change this to continue, for example, as in the previous video, by the time this is true, it will go back to here. So basically, I will just show you with a breakpoint, but we do have to keep this going on for at least 30 times, actually 20 times. So let me just go and keep going on, F9, 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 F9 until 20. Okay, so 20, it's still false, but now 21, this will be true, and you will see that we will go inside the line, inside the if, line 15. But when I press F8 again, instead of coming down to line 18, it will just go back to the beginning of the for, and now it will continue the count to 22. So basically it will ignore everything that is below it. So the same rules that we have for the break applies for continue. It needs to be inside a switch. Actually, I'm not sure if we can have it inside a switch. I never used inside a switch. Let me see. Yeah, looks like the continue only inside the loop statements. So, for example, you cannot have like a statement right below it because it's unreachable code, as you can see here, unreachable statement. And the difference between break and continue is that the continue will go back to the beginning of the for, not outside of it. So let's just go back to break, and then we'll give you one example. Let's come here and let's do the following. Let's copy this entire class. Control C, select the package, Control V, and then rename the last number to 5. Okay, so now let's do the following. I'm gonna delete, I'm gonna just remove so you can understand what I'm doing, because it can get a bit difficult. So instead of starting the month count with 1, I would just change a little bit, and I will say, okay, you know what, just start the month count with the total price value. So instead of counting from 1, I would just say start counting from the total price. But since this is a double and you cannot just put a double number inside an integer, we will have to cast it. Okay, so now starting from 20,000, but I want you to stop by the time you reach 1. Basically, well, we cannot have negative months. So go and go these 4 until you get the number 1. But we cannot also have like this, because we are starting with 20,000 and then we don't want 20,001. We want like 19,999. So I will change this, minus minus. Basically, let's just start from 20,000 and going down one by one. Now I will copy this line right here from the previous class and this line right here. So what you're going to see here is actually the other way. We are going to start with like 20,000, and as you can see, until we reach 20, everything else should be ignored, because the statement says the monthly payment cannot be lower than 1,000. So this means that everything that is under 20, all the 19,000 iterations should be kind of ignored. I should not print all these values until I get the condition to true. So basically, between printing something to the console and doing arithmetic, the processing power will be way higher by you just printing. It may sound a bit kind of lie, but we are working with I/O, and by the fact that we are printing to the console, it takes way much processing power than just doing a math. Now, technically, this is just a training, but in real life, you would have several lines, let's say 15, 20. I have seen 4 with 150 lines, and you don't want to do that processing all the time. Basically, you want to start only when you have a condition evaluated to true. And this is what we are trying to achieve here. Basically, if the monthly price is lower than 1000, I want you to just continue counting until this is true. So now if we press Ctrl Shift F10, you will see that we don't have this line being executed. That's technically the high processing part of our core all the time. It is ignored until this evaluates to false. So all the 19,000 before was ignored, because by the time this was true, it was coming back to the for loop. So I will just give you one example using a breakpoint. So by the time I do this, so as you can see, this will keep going on like more than 19,000 times, and we are saving a lot of processing here instead of printing everything to the console. So this is the continue. Basically, the difference is that instead of going out of the for loop, it will continue the iteration, ignoring everything that's below the condition that you have this continue inside. So I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next video. Bye.